guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over a story titled, My Ex Demanded Me for Support for a Kid That Is Not Mine. My mom and sister are on her side. And big shout out to Ash for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy, I'm going to guess probably he's mid to late 20s, didn't really specify, but the clues said that age. And long story short, after 5 years of being away from his ex-girlfriend, who he broke up with for a very good reason, she shows up one day wanting to talk to him, and lo and behold, she had a 5-year-old kid and insisted that it's his, and demands, not asked, demands that he start making payments and all that. Of course, without any kind of proof, this is actually his biological child. And you're going to see this whole SHIT storm that comes from this with regards to how he handles her, how she behaves, and also his own family. You're going to see here, guys, that ultimately, when he finds out, and you'll see this, that the kid is not his, still, the ex is after him, and the mom and sister are making him out to be the bad guy because he won't willingly give her money for a kid that isn't his. Taking her side, even though she was awful to him and lying the whole time about this being his kid and trying to drag him through the mud. They took her side. And that'll be a very good one here, guys, for a bunch of reasons. Number one, to show you what can happen and how years later after you're done with a girl, she can show up on your doorstep. And you got to be very careful and be prepared to fight. Hopefully you know to go contact an attorney to find out your options. And of course, there's a reason why they have DNA and paternity tests. 2, how the gals almost always stick together, even your own family. And it's crazy. And oftentimes, in my opinion, it's because they are guilty of actions that a lot of these gals that are the ex-girlfriends or ex-wives of these guys for, and they side with them. Which only proves together why you don't take advice, once again, from women about women. Dating, relationship, all that, because it can be very much biased. And the third one is, there are times in life, guys, as I've said this before, that you got to cut people out of your life. Girlfriends, fiancés, friends, and sometimes your own family when they don't have your best interest at heart and they're trying to actually work against you. There's a point you got to cut them out of your life. Otherwise, they'll bring you down. So I'm going to go through this story here, guys, point these things out along the way. It's entertaining and makes you just want to scream, but also good lessons here. So it starts off, he says here, some years ago, I dated a girl, the relationship was bad, and she was very controlling and abusive. It ended up really bad, and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and after some years, I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life, and make some savings. Okay. Sounds like a lot of guys. Bad relationship, moved on, now he's doing well. Well, guess who's going to come back just when he got a job and is doing well? The thing is, a couple months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. She first asked me to talk. I believed that she may want to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son and demanding for support. Where was she the other 5 years? Something tells me that what probably was going on is the baby daddy left the picture. He was no longer reliable for money or something like that. And now she's going to her sure thing. Probably the guy she knew was a good guy. Just recently got his stable job. And now he can pay for things. Without any, proof this kid is his or not. I didn't believe her. Good for you. But the child age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from an attorney, a friend of mine, to try to solve this out of court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs, and being an active parent of the kid's life only after making a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this except, wait for it, my ex. Gee, I wonder why she has a problem with this. Maybe because she probably has a very, very good idea that in fact this is not his kid, and the second there's actual proof, he's off the hook in terms of any kind of legal obligations, financial obligations, all that. So of course she has a problem with it. She acted offended and demanded to just give her the money she deserved. Oh, okay. Now, real quick, what did I tell you guys all about a woman's perception of a man? When women have a certain perception of a guy, whatever that may be, it is very hard to change that. And I'm guessing, given how she's making these demands without any kind of evidence, her perception is this guy's weak. Because he did say in the beginning that their relationship, she was controlling and abusive. So obviously, he was maybe a weaker guy back then. She just thinks he's going to cave. My man here has obviously improved since. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family to tell them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility of her child. That's a low blow. See the lengths some of these will go to get their way. When she ran out of excuses and the DNA test was finally made, and surprise, I'm not the father. Nobody surprised here. She was so mad with the result and cried, of course, about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it, but she didn't accomplish anything. What do you deserve? Why aren't you getting money from the child's biological father? What happened to him? Where were you for the last 5 years? All right, now that's nice she wasn't around for 5 years, but who was taking care of things the previous 5 years? Did her chatter-tied-around baby daddy get arrested? Is he now in prison and can't make payments? These are important questions here. And she just immediately assumes that she deserves it. Now, sure, I don't want to see a child not be provided for, but if this isn't his kid, not his responsibility, it's not his job. Okay? And this shows you the type of person she is to try to take advantage of this guy and getting his family involved. Now, but we're not done yet, guys. Now we're on to the part with his family. He says, moving on to the last week, there was a little party at my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of her comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the people. Literally, we were on the opposite side of the house. And nobody else could hear us. At least that was what we thought. We were laughing like crazies when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. His sister got physical with him. I'll come back to that in a minute. She spied on us and heard our conversation, and she was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for making fun of this poor woman. A few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she started to say how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. So number one, okay, fair enough. He and his brother and father are allowed to make jokes on the basis that she came at him with this bullshit and tried to extort him for money and all that, and he got an attorney and got evidence this is my kid. They're allowed to make fun of her for that. Now, if they're going to make fun of her because she's panhandling, can't feed the kid, that's different. That's kind of mean, but I don't think that's what it was. But her sticking her nose here, physically grabbing him and jacking him against the wall, sister or not, I don't care who it is, I would whoosh, right off. Her ass is on the ground. Not cool. And now she's starting shit and taking the side of the girl. Gee, why? He did say she was controlling and abusive, and there's a reason why they broke up. And now years later, she's coming back with false. You know what I'm talking about here. I gotta actually watch that word here on YouTube, and trying to extort this from her brother. Lying, making up all this shit, and she's taking his side. Here's the question, why? Maybe is it possible that she herself is no saint, and a lot of these gals will stick to the side of the other ones, or maybe on some level she feels bad for her emotionally and is not logically saying this is not my brother's child, but I still feel bad for her, and since she's your ex, well, you should pay anyway. What a load of shit. It continues. He says here, my brother and I were like, are you serious? When she started to say how I forced my ex into being a single MOM and that I had the moral obligation to help her. He doesn't have a moral obligation to do anything. This is not his child. And even if she was great to him in the past and they broke up just because, maybe they had differences and all that, still, it's not his responsibility. If she feels bad for her and wants to and thinks that money should be given to her, then she can get her checkbook out and write this girl a check. It's not his moral responsibility. But do you see how often they stick together and stick it to the guy's her own brother? But we're not done here. Now we're on to his mom. My dad only said that we maybe were being a little too cruel, making jokes about her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said, even if the kid is not yours, you are making more than enough money to support that child and you should have helped her. Oh, okay, comrade mom. No, comrade mom. It's not my obligation to do so. And if I'm making really good money, I'm going to provide me, your son, with a nice life. And maybe one day, maybe I would get married, have my own kids, and that money I make can take care of that family, my real family. Not just some a-hole who we broke up for a reason and has come back here 5 years later lying and making all these accusations and getting you guys involved and turning my life upside down for her own selfish reasons. There's a father out there, he can provide. She has a family, they can help provide. Or mom, comrade mom, with her ideas on, well, you got the money, so you should just give it away to somebody else that doesn't deserve it. Then you can get your checkbook out with the sister, and you can give her money. Since then, I've been receiving texts. My dad and my brother are on my side saying I'm not responsible for her, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mom has only said, now listen to this motherly manipulative BS. My mother only said, it's your decision, I respect it. I'm just very disappointed that you end up being so selfish. I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money, and I'm not planning to give her any. But the constant harassment of my sister trying to guilt me is just exhausting. So, that ended his thing, and I'm going to read some amusing comments in a moment. But I'm going to say my piece on this just have a lesson here in the story. Number one, it's none of his mom or sister's freaking business. This is a grown-ass man, and no matter what the situation, it's not their business. Regards to his sister, I would tell his sister to F off. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, don't ever talk to me again. Okay? You showed your true colors by defending her. She was an awful ex-girlfriend. That's why she's the ex-girlfriend. That's why we broke up. And she's come back here making these accusations, trying to extort money from me, saying this, then getting to you and messing with you guys, and you're going to take her side? We're done. Okay? I don't give a shit. Fuck off. I gotta watch my language here, but I can't help but say that. That's what I'd say. Because you know what? It's a sister. Who gives a shit? People disagree with me, but that's fine. That's your business. But you have an asshole sibling or cousin, whatever, the hell with him. Next to his mom. Now, this is because his mom, she gets a little bit better of a situation, in my opinion, than the sister, only because she's his mother, and you know, fine, she gave birth to him. I'd say, Mom, I love you, but I don't ever want to hear that from you again. You're going to get one chance here before I write you off completely. And I repeat the same thing. That's not my kid. She was an awful ex-girlfriend. She treated me horribly, and she's doing this to your son, to your blood. Okay? You're going to take her side over mine? What kind of mother is that? I'm disappointed in you, Mom. And if Mom, and this is going to end right now, and I'm going to get your support, or I'm no longer your son. Some people wouldn't even give her that chance, but I'd give that one little bit extra of a chance because it's the mom. And on the basis that maybe she was a good mom up until this point. But that's it. And if either one of them, I'd be done with the sister, and if the mother kept up with her crap, bye, Mom, we're done. I'm only going to have a relationship with Dad and the brother. Because you got to cut people out of your life that aren't on your side. And it sounds harsh, but that's what I've learned throughout my life. And I think a lot of you guys that are older understand that. A lot of guys say, I can't do that. I can't cut family off. Family, the blood is thicker than water. Well, that family will drag your ass down. Nobody can drag you down more than family. And if you don't believe me, for you younger guys out there, okay, just keep having those leeches, these a-hole family members in your life, and watch what happens. It's unpopular, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Because before they are your mom or sister, or in some cases your father or brother or cousin or whatever, they're human beings first. And they're going to have all the ugly human emotions that human beings had, whether they're family or not. And the family can drag you down quicker than anybody else. But this guy, he handled this very well, and it's not his fault. But again, look here. And the mom and sister, imagine that, took the side of her. And one has to question mom and sister's track record for things. One has to question if he's even mom's child to begin with, or you get my point here. So that's what I think. And hopefully he listens. Now, real few comments here before I wrap this up. One guy says here, tell your sister if she's so concerned, she should give your ex money since she has so much to do with conceiving the child as you did. Another guy says here, it's not just that, but she clearly cheated on him when the child was conceived while they were together. putting him at risk of STDs, and then tried to scam him, claiming that the child is his. So she does not deserve a penny from him. Amen. And by the way, the comment section is just jammed with people totally agreeing with the guy. Now the guy says here, then tell your mom you're disappointed in her for not sticking up for her own son and instead actually advocating that her flesh and blood be taken advantage of. They have no right whatsoever to judge you for not letting yourself be financially extorted. Correct. Which again makes me think mom and sister don't exactly have a rosy history. Now the guy says here, I'm guessing she was living with the real father that whole time. And either he's a deadbeat poor, or she's just getting money from him already. She just saw an opportunity. It's interesting, the second this guy got his real job, making a real income, that's when she came back. And last one, this guy says, I guess you better start calling all your exes, former classmates, neighbors, and every other woman you've ever been in contact with to ask if they're single MOMs and if they want you to provide child support. If that sounds absurd, well it is. It ain't your effing kid. Tell your mom and sister that a woman is saying this. Sisterhood is well and great, but this shit ain't. Yes. So there you go. So you guys out there, you got to watch out. Because you never know who's going to come back years later, and be prepared for a fight. Be prepared to contact that attorney. Better have him on speed dial. And also prepare for the tests. And be aware, again, another example, how the gals will stick together, even your own family. It's terrible. So I wish this guy the best. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Know what you think about this. And, guys, you got a good story like to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And this is news articles, crazy stories, or my personal favorite, the personal stories you guys have about your past or what you're going through right now, the hardships you went through, how you overcame it, all that. They're the best stories. I love them. The audience loves them, so by all means, keep them coming. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.